Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Transform Sales podcast. I am here today with Matt from Triple Session in another episode of the Sales Software Review series. Matt, how you doing today?
Great to be here.
Awesome. Matt, let's go ahead and start with the first question. What is the name of the product you want to share today?
Triple session.
Triple Session. All right. So talk to me about Triple Session. Who is the ideal customer for Triple Session and what does Triple Session do?
Yeah, we're really delivering for two ICPs right now, two ideal customer profiles. One is sales enablement. So it's the sales enablement manager of a small, mid-sized SaaS business who just needs to continue to train the team, continue to enrich the sales process. And then the other is the frontline sales manager or sales VP of smaller teams, person who's really responsible for the revenue number, but all of the conversion rates throughout the process.
Okay, perfect. And is there any size of companies, any industries where you recommend your product or where you've seen your product work best than others?
Yeah, if we really zero into who we're doing the best with right now, it's typically sales teams between 10 and 100 reps on the phone. So that's usually inside a business between 50 and 500 total employees
Right.
based in the US or Europe, and typically has a sales motion that's really tight, really well defined. So usually a small, mid-size sales motion. We don't do as well with enterprise sales. Small, mid-size, or something even more transactional is very defined sales steps in the process. That's really where we're doing the most value. And the industries that they typically work in are SaaS and technology. So if you're a SaaS business with a tight sales process, selling to small, mid-size in the US or Europe, that's really our sweet spot right now.
Fantastic. So you mentioned not enterprise, but then is there like a recommended ticket size that you would say? You mentioned transactional, so it's in the, let's say, 500 to 5,000. You tell me
Yeah,
where
for
you.
annual revenue, it's anywhere from as low as 2,000 a year. We have some clients that are selling at that low a ticket, all the way up to six figures, 100,000 or more,
Mhm.
as long as it again fits more into that mid-size sales motion where it's fairly well defined. Almost all inside sales run on the phones.
Perfect. So now talk to me about what does Triple Session help users do that they couldn't do before they had your software installed?
Yeah, there are really a couple specific problems that we solve for our customers. One, for sales enablement. Historically, they've always been kind of left holding the bag on where they need to deliver value. So they get left guessing on what kind of training the teams need, what competencies need to be filled out, where the team needs to have the most support from enablement in order to accelerate. We solve that problem by giving them the data. So we pull directly from call performance data exactly the skills that are needed to get worked on from an individual team or globally the entire sales org level. So they know with data what exactly they need to spend their time on and where they can help the most, and then measure how well their work is actually moving the needle on performance. So that's piece one that we help with sales enablement. Piece two is with the frontline sales manager. I was a frontline sales manager for years, and one-on-one coaching is critical. Every manager will tell you that, but they'll also tell you until now it's been in the dark ages where they're just left trying to listen to a small sample set of calls or guess what the rep needs help with. Now, again, we bring the value of data to that conversation by pinpointing exactly where the reps are struggling the most when they're executing each phase of the sales process. So now when the manager is meeting with their teams one-on-one, they know exactly where they need to spend the most time. They can also see what the A players are doing on their team, so they know exactly where the skills apply the most value throughout the process. And they could use that for cross-training, cross-selling, pull top performers into trainings and help cross-pollinate some of those best practices throughout the team.
That's incredible. It solves two huge problems in enabling a sales team because I've seen sometimes a lot of the promotions happen organically. So it is, let's say, a new manager that used to be a sales rep. They know how to convert, but they may not know how to coach or how to identify. Or sometimes they have identified, let's say they have a team of 6, 10 people, 10 reps. They have identified some opportunities, but they don't know how to triage them or prioritize them in order to coach whatever is going to make the most impact first. And when the pressure comes on, it's even harder to have that clarity and analyze what should I coach first. But if you're given an indicator of, hey, this person needs to work on 3 things, but maybe start here, then 100% a lot of the work gets just, let's say, the admin work or the guessing work on what to tackle first gets eliminated, and you just execute.
100%. And, one of our more common scoring methodologies is built around the spiced framework from winning by design. So we have a lot of scoring logic that's built on that for discovery. So open the call, run, situation, problem, impact, compelling event, decision, close the call with next steps. We could already see for the companies that are using that methodology, top performers are nailing impact, nailing down next steps, and the reps who struggle are not. So the managers can see that very quickly. The reps can see it themselves, and then they can go right to the heart of the issue. Hey, you're not drilling into the cost of inaction, the cost of the problem. You're not getting impact with this process. And we know that the conversation goes sideways when you don't do that. So let's go right to the heart of what's going to help you get better and provide you those resources. And then enablement's plugged into that conversation as well. So they know they need to support the team with better training and better coaching there too. Makes for a
Incredible.
fun conversation.
I love it. Now, in terms of the success, the difference that it makes, you mentioned, hey, not only we're pointing the finger as to what needs to be improved, but we can also show the difference. What type of KPIs do you typically measure, or what do your users use to measure the success of triple session?
Yeah, so the big three are overall revenue. So bottom line revenue per rep performance, sales cycle, and average contract value. Those are the three lagging indicators from implementing triple session that we measure. And a lot of that is based on what the existing sales cycle and existing average ticket looks like. Earlier on from that, the leading indicators that we measure is really the scoring of executing the sales playbook. So what we do is we take a customer's sales playbook, we slice it into smaller scorecards to measure the proficiency of applying that playbook to each conversation. And then we're scoring globally the entire call, but then individually the individual elements that are feeding into that call. And that's the stuff that we see start to transform really within a matter of days with most of our clients, where we plug it in, it's automatically reviewing and listening and coaching behind the scenes on every call. And when the reps know that and they get an automatic results feedback score, an automatic coaching report on all of their calls, it changes their behavior extraordinarily fast because they already know, hey, I didn't set a next step with urgency on that last call. I'm going to do it on this one because I'm not going to miss that twice in a row. And because they get that feedback loop immediately, they change the behavior real fast. So we see that show up in that next measurement and the next one and the next one from there.
Awesome. I already want to see the tool in action, but before we go there, I wanted to ask you there. I can see different stakeholders or users of the platform in a company, as in the rep receiving the coaching, the person either from training enablement providing the sessions, or the coach managing the scores and the impact that that's having on the performance. So before we go into a screen share, how about you talk to me about the pricing model, the licensing model? Is it shareable? Are there bundles? Just walk us through that, please.
Yep. So we have two different tiers to the platform, really. One is just the AI coach. So I'll show you this in just a second, but it's the scoring logic with the scorecards plugged into wherever calls are happening, plugged into CRM as well. So we're passing through the data. That piece comes at $440 per seat per month. So we're still in a per seat pricing model. And then on top of that, we have learning and development tools that plug into the coaching academy. So you can add on for another $40 per user per month, total of 80. You can actually plug in all of your LMS, all of your learning and development, all of your training material into that experience. So now we can close the loop from call analysis to call coaching to ongoing training and everboarding right back into CRM to read out what the performance indicators are and the impact that all of these efforts are having. So full bundle, full package pricing would be at $80 per seat per month.
Okay, $80 per seat. Question: are these seats, these licenses transferable? I can imagine the use case of, let's say, I'm training, or I just hired a new batch of, say, 10 reps, 5 reps, and I may only need the platform for an enablement phase, a ramp up phase. If they hit a certain metric, I can take them off the platform, and maybe I bring an outlier, an underperformer. Can I do such a thing, or is the license attached to an individual but cannot be transferred?
Can be transferred, and we typically see it working in the other direction, meaning we're going to onboard and then measurement starts to really pick up, and we need to start to really gain traction with understanding where they need to add the value and understand their performance later. So we usually see this phased approach coming out, or an established team will come in, they'll say, hey, we want to start scoring our existing performers, understanding where they're fitting in with executing on our methodology. And then we want to fold in the academy after that so we can get them the great training material they need now that we've diagnosed exactly where they need the most help. So depending on what the maturity of the team is and the maturity of the individual, we really build this cadence where we're delivering that staged value over time for customizing to the customer's experience.
Awesome. I'm eager to see the platform. So why don't we jump into a screen share, Matt? If you can walk us through maybe the different views that people are going to get, both in the prompts and alerts for the reps, as well as the dashboards and reports for the managers.
Yeah, let's do it. So should be on my screen here. You see Vinny Johnson, Sasco.
Yes, sir. I see Matt Doyen, Vinny Johnson. Yes, sir.
So this is what the most granular, a couple different levels of what we'll go through here very quickly. This is the most granular, most detailed. This is a single call, single stage report. So I run a call. This is a discovery call with a prospect who's leading a sales team at a SaaS business. I get this report spun up and sent to my inbox and into my Slack 2 minutes after the call closes. What you can see here, as a rep and as a manager, I can evaluate exactly what happened on this call. So here, sales rep scored 65 out of 100 potential points in executing the playbook for this call. We can see top of the report here, very quick snapshot of what went well and what needs some work. And really the granular analysis comes down here. So if you see under scorecard, this is all built off of a custom scorecard logic. So when our customers come in, we design and build custom scorecards for them to fit exactly into the process, the methodology, the kind of information they need to move on in their process with their prospects. And at each piece of this, just like a manager would, if a manager is listening to a call and giving specific feedback and scoring, we do that here using AI. So immediately after the call closes, I can see broadly, what did I get well? What did I miss as a rep? If something is a partial, I can click into the partial and understand if I only partially got it, why, what exactly happened there. And at the bottom is a coaching report and recommendation. So of everything that I did here in the call, what is the single most biggest improvement I can take from it and apply to my next call? So immediately I'm getting that coaching feedback. Now, we want to deliver a lot of value to the rep in this experience beyond just the training and coaching and where they can get better. So we integrate all of the deal insights directly into CRM. Sales reps don't like having to fill out CRM. They shouldn't have to do it anymore. So here we take the fields that get filled out from each deal stage for CRM, and we automatically use our AI to start populating those fields for the rep. So now they could just click update CRM and immediately pass that over to the record real time.
I can
And
almost hear the sales reps standing up in the crowd and clapping up. I love it. I love it. Now, question: you mentioned this is a discovery call example.
yep.
Was this taken from a Zoom meeting, a Google Meet meeting, or a phone call on dial pad? Where does it plug into? What type of interactions does it plug into?
Yep. So anything that's recorded audio or audio video. So this specific one came from Zoom, but we plug into VoIP, like you mentioned, Dialpad or HubSpot's VoIP system. So if it's just audio, we grab the call from there, process the same report.
Incredible. So it's kind of like on because I've seen attempts to do something similar from companies like Gong, Data.io, Chorus from their analytics, but it's only scratching the surface, right? It's like analyzing a transcript and then providing some high level through an LLM, a high level description of the meeting, some next steps, but it's not contrasting it versus a scorecard. They may have, I've seen some features to detect keywords, but not like this, not as in did you present this value? Did you confirm the next meeting type of detail?
Right. The big problem that we're really solving is that still today, if you want a real assessment on your process, you got to jump into the call and listen to the recording because you're looking for specific things in your playbook when your reps are running the process. Things that big data like talk time, keyword analysis, cadence just can't pick up. So you need to see if your rep executed your process to the fullest. That means you need a custom scoring logic. And that's really the brains behind what you're seeing here. Everything starts with a lot of detailed handhold work with our customers to really design and build that very specific custom logic. And then once we have that, we've effectively uploaded the manager's brain into AI. And now that brain, that clone of the manager, is now reviewing and giving feedback and assessing every single call.
I love it, Matt. Now you touch a very important point, which is the setup of the system. It's something that, as you said, the criteria, what is important to say, what should be avoided, keywords, sentences, qualification. You would expect most companies have this mapped out, but I've seen in my experience that sometimes they have it. So first of all, it's not always that they have it fully mapped out, and when they have it, it's typically not updated.
Right.
So I'm guessing a lot of the work there's let's say it's a front-loaded type of work in the sense of um, creating this at the beginning. Does that come at an additional price? How much is your team involved in assisting and helping them um, polish or just enhance or adapt their current sales process that may be happening empirically into a
Yep.
methodology that is more sound, is more turning into a science rather than an art?
Yeah, so for the customers who already have their scorecards and they're ready to go, there's no onboarding fee at all. For the ones who need our assistance and need our help, we have two opportunities. One, we'll do the work with you ourselves with our internal team. It comes at $3,000 one time, where we'll design and build out the scorecards alongside your process and really help you refine what those deal stage process steps should look like. Or two, we now are building a partner network of great consultants who do this full time. They work hands on with their clients in consulting and building out sales processes and sales methodologies. We can refer somebody over to do real deep, real hands on work with your team and really design something that is very, very rich and has playbooks and training material with you. So there are a couple different solutions that we customize based on the customer's needs.
So depending on the gaps, there are solutions. But if you are looking to get quick ROI from triple session, the the more updated your map of your sales process is, and let's say the profiles of your reps in the system, the faster they start getting results because the coaching, the system, as you said, they get it on Slack, they get a quick notification, and everything as to what to improve, what to continue doing that's going well, it's going to be right there.
Exactly. Our best customers, they have a sales motion already in place. They're using something like Gong to record their calls, get that big data feedback. They have scorecards that are living usually in a Google sheet somewhere that they manually fill out to get feedback to reps. And they say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's super time consuming. It has value, but I'm only touching 5% of the calls because I just don't have the time to get there. Great. Give us your scorecards. We'll build the AI model around them, flip the switch, have everything plugged in just a few days, and you're off and running.
Perfect. Now, we spoke earlier about the different stakeholders. Is this the view for the rep, and is there another view for, say, the manager, an enablement?
Yeah, reps live most of their time in this view because they're very focused on nailing each individual call and getting each deal moving forward.
Mhm.
Managers and sales enablement live mostly in here. This is the deal stage roll up view. So, that same scoring logic, we maintain consistency throughout the scoring for each call by deal stage. And now you can see how reps and the team at large are performing on that same consistent scoring logic across all of their calls. So, now if I'm looking just at that early stage discovery call, with that scorecard that we just reviewed, this is a roll up of all of the calls at that stage and following the trends on what a rep, and we could see this from a team view as well, what the team is performing well at, and really where the rep or the team are struggling. So they need to improve. So this rep that you could see here, this cat Matt Doyen, we could see he's doing pretty good with opening the call and a good situation analysis and discovery. Man, he needs a lot of work at setting an agenda and drilling into a critical event. So we already know, Matt, if you're not getting critical event, you're not really building a solution on the customer's timeline. You can't really build urgency effectively. You're not working backwards from a decision that they need to see as far as outcome and impact. We need to work on that because your deals are going to go long. You're going to lose them if you're not building for the customer around a critical event. So we don't have to guess anymore where Matt needs the most help. We can see it, and we could start to train and coach and give him the resources he needs to up that piece of his game, and then watch where that skill is getting better call after call after call to make sure he's doing the work on the calls that we need him to do.
Incredible. And I guess we can also see, based on, let's say, the profile of the best performers, if everything's being analyzed, we can see where the best performers excel and almost like try to hire or replicate that through coaching in the other reps. Hey, if these are the traits that are leading to have better conversations and more conversions in the pipeline, then let's replicate that. Yes, there may be other areas of opportunity, but may not be as much as a priority as the ones where the current top performers shine.
100%. And it can shock some people when they see exactly what their top performers do and actually don't do. One of our
Mhm.
customers was very surprised to find out that a lot of the rapport building on the front end of the process is largely meaningless in terms of results.
Huh.
And her top performers were nailing impact and scheduling next steps. And it's funny to see that come to the surface and say, okay, this person is not the friendliest person. They're not nice. They don't spend a lot of time doing a lot of homework on the individual, but man, they nail pain, they nail impact, and they always have a next step. Now I can see exactly why they're performing and now instruct the others on my team, or maybe the B or C players, on what they need to lean into if they really want to change their game.
Love it. It's okay if they cannot talk baseball, but as long as they set next steps and understand the value, they may
Yeah.
have a great career ahead of them.
Yeah, it's just next steps alone. So many people don't do that. And we've seen the data again and again. The reps who are consistent about having that next step on the schedules are correlating to top performers on their teams.
Do you create content just out of curiosity? Do you provide like insights or reports? Because it definitely seems like something that people should be tuned in, even if they're on the sidelines, still considering if they should acquire triple session.
Yeah, so we post a lot on LinkedIn. We promote a lot of content through our academy as well. So, as I mentioned, there are two tiers of our program and our platform. One is the AI coaching model, the
Mhm.
other is our full academy of on demand training. We pump out a lot of new training content on a weekly basis. publish that. We want salespeople to get better. Most of our content is free and open to the world to get in, start learning from, take courses, take certification courses, complete our quizzes, build a profile. All of this does fold into our AI coaching tool. So we don't want to just leave reps holding the bag of, hey, I need to get better at critical event, but how do I do that exactly? We give a complement of training and coaching material that's already embedded in here. So we really complete that full cycle, but a lot comes out through our free product of our training academy that you're seeing here.
Incredible. That's what I was thinking. Based on the areas of opportunities diagnosed by the tool, you can recommend some courses. And you mentioned earlier that you can plug in as well if your clients have an LMS training platform already indexed and tabulated, then you can also provide some recommendations. Now, quick question: if we go back to the AI coach, aside from the scorecard and the automation in the, let's say, reports, areas of opportunity, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
is there a way to interact or maybe like ask it, hey, I know that you recommended a course, is there anything else? Could I change my script? Do you recommend an opening line? Are permission-based openers a good thing or a bad thing? Right? Is there that level of conversation now that you mentioned that, like with AI and the advent of being able to interact with it?
Yeah, so it's almost like you're taking a peek into our roadmap. Right in here, what you're going to see soon is a little widget that says Ask Iris. And Iris is our internal sales coach where you could ask her whatever you want. So, what kind of messaging should be most effective at this stage to uncover critical event, Iris? I'll be able to type that in and it'll surface for me the training material. It'll give me suggestions. It'll start learning my methodology as well. So now it can be actually that coach that I can go to and tap on the shoulder and ask for really specific advice. Not here yet. You should be able to see it in here within just the next few weeks.
Awesome, awesome. Probably by the time the episode is out, you may be able to interact with Iris. And one last question, Matt. I can see that it's audio and video based. Do you have it in the roadmap at some point to include text? I was just thinking, based on what you just presented, if emails, for instance, on the methodology, because one of the tests, just to disclose it real quick, that I like to perform on these new AI sales copy generators is, if they are still writing in the emails the sentence, I hope this email finds you well. That is a huge red flag. It should be banned.
Yeah, I think Lavender and Reggie have all taught us the new age of how to message with email copy. So I'm right with you there. It's on the roadmap, but quite frankly, not near term. We got a lot more burning issues to solve right now, but we've had a number of customers ask for it, especially customers who are leading BDR teams that are using our system to measure their cold calls. They know that so much of the BDR's job is through email, is through LinkedIn messaging. It's text based. So they've asked us to fold that into the equation here. We're not there yet. We have it on the roadmap, but it's going to take some work there. So expect that probably to be a 2025 edition.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty fine because I believe that right now the interactions, um, a lot of people are neglecting phone as a channel. A lot of people are neglecting the conversations or putting them in a secondary bucket and putting all their eggs into the automation, the spray and pray methodologies. But in
Yeah.
reality, if you get an at bat, which would be a conversation, which, as you said, it could be a voice based or voice and video. That's where you can really make a big impact with a platform that analyzes what the opportunity is based on a predefined sales process and provide guided recommendations so that the more interactions you have, the faster you ramp up, the closer you are to hitting your goal lines, right?
That's it. And the conversation quality is at the core of our jobs. That's what we do in sales. And, we could all have off days, off calls, and we are always a work in progress. So getting that real, consistent, data-driven feedback just helps us get better. It's like a personal trainer that's with us all the time. That's what we aim to achieve. Help everybody get the maximum potential out of who they are every day, every call.
Excellent. Matt, thank you so much for sharing all these details about triple session. If you are curious, you're listening to this, you're curious about triple session, you want to learn more, go check out the CloudTos Marketplace and you will surely find them there. Thank you so much, Matt, for the information, and I hope to catch you in a future episode.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Great being here.
Awesome.